Hey,
like rubbing it in. She's like, don't worry, I brew all the beer, so I get to bring it home. You guys have to come get it. This is gonna be fun. We get to talk beer, and I'm all about that. Danielle Brunner from Weyerbacher, a brewer.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. I'm about to get educated.
Of course.
I love it.
Let's do it.
So how are you doing? How have things been in the brewing world? I know you guys have like a combination tasting room brewery, but how has it been for you these last 2 months?
Well, with everything that's going on, it's affecting businesses all over. It's not the greatest situation. And, we've kind of gone through some turmoil over the past year. We're on the up and up. So this kind of like threw a wrench into the gears, but, we're getting back to where we would like to be for sure.
cool. And you have a little bit of beer there. Before we go any further, can I just see it? Can I see
what?
the beer that you have?
Your beer.
Oh, well, I actually brought a throwback with me here. This is Quad. It's one of our more popular seasonal offerings. I'm having a little bit right now.
Looks like an IPA. Is that right?
No. It's a Belgian style quadruple, so it's kind of dark and rich. It's 11.8%, very like caramelly, figgy, best served kind of warm, 50 to 55. It's perfect. It's kind of like a dessert-ish beer.
Yeah,
but it's definitely yeah, it's a popular one because if anyone's familiar with Weyerbacher, we're known for big, huge, obnoxious beers. I'm not saying that's bad, but
I have a story about one. You ready? So
yeah, let's do it. Let's hear it.
When I was like early 20s, you're out of college, you have a job, I can go out. So we'd go out to Steelgaarden at the time and it still is. We'd go play pool, try to be cool, maybe like mingle, and we'd always get Weyerbacher Merry Monks because I could never get through 3 of them because we were so poor, you're 20 something. So we knew if we got the Weyerbacher's, we could not spend a ton, but still feel really good. And that would be it. So that was my plan of attack.
Efficient. Get you efficiently like drunk, pretty quickly.
But it was funny. Yeah. But that's my Weyerbacher story. And since then I've grown to, appreciate it for more than just trying to drink quickly.
It's drink to get drunk. Yeah.
Yes.
They're definitely not beers for that. I mean, you could do that, but I don't advise that.
No, yeah, they're not. Yeah.
Everybody,
what kind of? Sorry, Tyler. Go ahead.
Everybody wants to drink responsibly. That's our main message.
That's it.
But this is cool. We have a brewer amongst us. That's kind of like, to me, that's like kind of like talking to an astronaut. I'm talking to somebody that brews beer.
I always like
fun.
I like it a lot. So,
what type of beer is your favorite, Danielle?
Well, that is tough to say. I am actually not a huge fan of Belgian beers, believe it or not. The yeast strain imparts this very like sweet quality to it, and a lot of the beers, and I can appreciate them. They're not my favorite. I really lean more towards anything super dry. IPAs, I'm more leaning toward like the West Coast style, super piney, like dank IPAs, or anything dry, kind of on the sour side as well.
What is it? I know what dry red wine is, but what's dry beer?
So basically that like
the
that feeling
IPAs
you get on the tip of your tongue where you're like, like I need to drink more. It's kind of like a sharpness, I guess. Like it doesn't leave like a sweet like layer lingering on your tongue, and bitterness can go hand in hand with that.
Yeah. I like just watered down beer. Is that bad? Like I just enjoy a good Pilsner. I'm not saying a particular. We went to an Oktoberfest in New Jersey, which matters. But they had, I forget which Pilsners they were, and I'm going to try to remember. I have the things downstairs. But those were the type of beers where I could drink this all day and just sit here and not drink a Merry Monks and be done.
Right. If you ask mostly any brewer, and this is just from what I've heard, from talking to other people in the industry, we'll brew beers that, you know, speak to all different types of people, whatever. But really at the end of the day, when we're done working and we're all sweaty and covered in malt dust or yeast or whatever it is, I mean, I know I can speak for myself and probably a lot of other people, like I said, but yeah, Pilsner is great. Like, I'm not going to lie. I love Pabst Blue Ribbon. That's kind of my jam. It's just an easy go-to. Or Hamm's Yingling is, you know, pretty, you know, crushable as well. So, you know.
Hamm's, man, that's a good beer.
Yeah. It gets diverse.
So when you're,
what time is it? Okay.
You're
well, it's a coronavirus time, so, you know, everybody's home.
So, well, I asked my wife, I'm like, is it, well, this was on Saturday, though, so I don't feel bad, but I did break the noon rule. Do you guys follow that noon rule or no? I guess it doesn't matter anymore. I was allowed to break it. It was a good time.
Time is irrelevant right now.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Tyler, what's your favorite beer? I don't even know.
I'm IPA. I'm an IPA guy. Strong. Actually, I probably would like that. It's funny, when I first turned 21, we went to Shangy's, a couple of my friends, right? And we wanted to seem like we were sophisticated drinkers. So we bought this case of, I'll never forget it, it was called Old Leg Humper, and it was chocolate stout, and it was like 14%. And we went to my friend's house in Lehigh and had the weirdest night of our lives, because it was just 4 dudes drinking super potent chocolate stout, and that was the last time I had it. So, but since then, like you realize what you like. Like that, we were just shopping for like, oh, what is that guy? That guy looks like he knows beer. Let's go over and pretend we know beer. But
right,
I'm 32. I've kind of I found my own taste. I like IPAs. I like, you know, summer beers too. You know.
Yeah. Same.
But when you're a brewer, right? And that's what you're doing over there. You're brewing the beer.
Well, I was gonna ask how you got interested in it.
Things. What's that?
What's your story of how you got into brewing? I'm curious about that.
So I was born and raised in Easton. So I just wanted to put that at the forefront.
Is that the end of the story? I was born and raised in Easton, so I became a brewer.
No, but actually, I heard, like, this was about 6 years ago now. I heard through the grapevine that they were hiring for someone in the visitor center, which at the time, the state of PA, you weren't allowed to sell pints, you know, like beer to sit down and have in the production facility, whatever, Pennsylvania and their weird laws. But anyway, I started out there, and then went to the packaging line. Then I became one of the managers at the tap room. We started serving pints, went back to packaging, went to the cellar, did brewing. So basically I got inspired by working behind the bar and learning a great deal and learning how to give tours and just obtaining all this information, that I decided to like do a 6-month long, distance learning program. So I never actually went to the school, and banged that out in 6 months, got a certificate, and also learned a great deal just from being there and the experience. So I guess really long story short is just being submersed in it was really inspiring, and I liked the processes, and that was always very intriguing. So, and you know, it's beer, and beer is fun, and it brings people together, and it's, you know, it's just wonderful.
I know I did I was just over there kind of not long. I think it might have been Valentine's Day. I did a benefit show for the Lehigh Valley Center of Independent Living. We did a comedy show there.
Okay. Oh yeah. I was not there, but I knew it happened.
Yeah, and I had a couple beers that night, but it was cool to see, you know, basically you could follow the beer from where it begins to the tap, right in that building.
Yeah.
And is that kind of how you got interested? You were serving beer, and then you know, like, well, where does this come from? And then you could follow the trail right back.
And like when I started there, I will not lie, I did not know a great deal about the process or anything. I just, you know, I was like, beer is good, you know. I'd like to learn more about this. Yeah. So I mean, working with the tap room being directly in the production facility, and it's such a small, almost like family-esque like vibe with the like everyone who's employed there. So, I got to like shadow a bunch and just go up and ask questions. And it wasn't just limited to staying behind the bar and having your talking points, standing behind the bar and speaking with customers. It went far beyond that. And they really allowed me to like spread my wings and fly and give me a chance to learn everything and, kind of just put me where I am now, which is, it's pretty cool.
What's your favorite part of the brewing process?
My favorite part
to you, like somebody that like I'm just a beer drinker. I don't know much about the process.
Right.
What would surprise me about it?
You know what surprised me about the process? Danielle doesn't know this, but I grew up in the middle of nowhere. When you're inside, at least when I was in Weyerbacher, and I mean this in the best way possible, it smells like a farm because of the grain, like the quality of the ingredients. And that was something that struck me because, that's a smell you don't usually equate. I don't know. I equated that with a farm, and then in there, and it made sense. I don't know.
Right.
It seemed natural to me and good. It was like a good smell.
It definitely is reminiscent of farm scent, but you get used to it. Yep.
And what's going on there now? Like, you guys obviously aren't able to open much, but you do have pickup. What is it? What's the...
Right. So basically what we're doing is just takeout option. We are doing an online ordering service, which you can find on all of our social medias, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. So basically, like with the whole COVID-19 thing occurring right now, we are offering first responders, so like, medical personnel, EMTs, and the like, they're all getting 20% off their orders, their to-go orders, which is cool. Just kind of like show us some type of identification as far as that goes. And, it's been...
There it is.
The business has been... It's been steady, which is good, but I feel like we're not the only ones in this position. Everyone's kind of trying to figure things out and how they can make the best of this whole situation with us not being able to have all of our events, our music, our food trucks, this and that, which we are trying to work on that and test the waters with the food truck thing and see how that goes. But everything is kind of up in the air, like I said. So, we're just kind of going day by day.
Right. I mean, if you asked us 2 months ago, would we be having a Zoom call talking about this? We never would have thought of this. So the fact that you guys are, you're making the best of it. Yeah.
Right.
And you guys are where's your location?
We are at 905 Line Street. It's way tucked away in the back of Southside Easton. It's right off of 78 though. What's that?
This is Tyler's favorite part of the show. Hold on. You'll see in a minute.
Okay.
This is my least favorite part of everything.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he hates this. We get to go on a tour. All right.
Oh,
now it makes sense because we asked where it was. Sometimes Georgia just puts a random wall.
Yeah. I love Google Maps. It's like one of my favorite. I will just spend time going on Google Maps. But so people who aren't, you're 78. It's a unique part of Easton,
Yeah, like I said, it's definitely tucked away. There's not much foot traffic. It's a weird, like, industrial park, like situation, like a lot of breweries.
But back here is really nice because you have this space up here. There's like a parking lot area.
Right.
Don't you use that?
Yeah, we use that for parking right now, and we have kind of like on the right there's like a little alleyway that you can usually post up and sit and hang out and play games like quates and cornhole and all that fun stuff, but obviously that's not occurring at the moment.
Yeah. Is there all production halted right now? Are you guys not?
No. Nope. So we're considered essential. Whoop, pretty great. So we do go in and we can still, go in, make the beer, brew the beer, do all the cellar work. Basically the whole process, we can still we can work with it right now as long as we're wearing, our PPE, our masks.
And I don't want to get, so I don't want to get into like specifics or anything with sales and everything, but everybody's still drinking beer, So unfortunately, maybe the restaurants and the bars who aren't able to be open, That's not good. But
No.
the places that make the beer, you know, they still have to make it. So at least on that end, and people are thanking you, like, thank you that you can still make beer, because it's been something that, you know, is helping people get through this.
Exactly. And, you know, if they're going to sit around all day, and actually, you know what the best part about it is, I think this is really opening people's minds to supporting more business locally, which is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the best part of all of this.
And it doesn't, you know, when that happens, and not that people didn't know that you guys had a great product, but some people might be like, oh, I'm going to go buy some Weyerbacher beer that are local. And then for the first time they try and like, oh shit, this is good. Where have I been this whole time? Right. So you might be gaining fans through this, you know, local initiative, which is good.
Right. Yeah. Everyone is having like, they're experiencing kind of like a different perspective on life as we know it. So yeah, absolutely. That's a positive.
Like a community base. Like I can't wait to go back. Like the thought of having outdoor quates and, you know, in the summer and music going, like that's something I'm looking forward to big time. And I think a lot of other people are. I think some, you know, there's not going to be a shortage of places to do that when we're all able to safely, you know, head back out.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
People are going stir crazy.
How long have you been in the brewing? Like, how long have you been doing it? And
you said 6 years, right?
That's when I started. I've been, I guess you could say, technically on the brew side of things since like late 2017. So it hasn't been a super long time. So I'm learning every day, but you know, we all do. There's always, you'll never know everything.
Is that, you know, the day-to-day in a brewery? Do you have any like crazy stories, any funny, like, oh my God, is this like, I don't know, near misses, or like how hit or misses, you know what I mean? Like, it's gotta be hectic, like, cause you're working with all these moving parts, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. And there's a lot of variables that come into play. Like sometimes things go awry when you don't plan on it, and then you have to like think on your feet real quick and figure it out. So like, for instance, the one time, and this is kind of a process story, but basically we do pilot batch beers. So small amount, they're about 4 barrels, whereas our big system produces 40 barrels. So I forget what exactly the beer was, but basically we had a bunch of, I think it was lemon peel in like a cheesecloth bag to kind of like impart some flavors on the cold side in the fermenter. And we were trying to pull it out because we wanted to purge some of the yeast out before we transferred it over to get ready to carbonate up and then to keg and to serve. So basically we're trying to pull this bag out, and we're taking a bunch of videos of it. Basically it came out and it shot yeast everywhere. I had to take a shower there. Me and my one old coworker, we had to take showers. We were covered in yeast. And we actually had to take a tri-clamp off the bottom that held the valve on. So we took that off. It shot out. I had to like grab a gasket and try to like shove the valve back on and flip the clamp on there. That was interesting.
What do you smell like after that? Does that smell? No, all right. I don't think it lasted like for a couple of days.
Yeah.
It smelled like fruit.
But was stuff like flying everywhere, like spraying everywhere?
It was spraying everywhere. Like I wish I could pull up the video right now because it was hilarious.
That's what I imagine happens. Like if Tyler's brewer for a day.
Yeah, sure. Well, I did it like maybe 6 years ago. We did a home brew for some show I was doing, a Glenn Tickle show, and me and the other writer brewed our own beer, right?
Yeah. And
then we got to drink it like on the show. I've never tasted something worse in my life.
Your beer?
My beer was almost undrinkable.
Oh, I thought you'd have like beginner's luck.
No.
You know?
Not me.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so interested in the process, because
there's a lot of, like you said, moving parts, even in just the brewing part of it. And if you don't control certain things about the environment and how you handle certain raw materials, you can really screw it up. or
Yeah.
you can have beginner's luck, but really it's best to be paying a lot of attention to every step of the way, what you're doing especially working in a production facility, production brewery. We have to make sure things are consistent, especially with our flagship beers, the Merry Monks, the Blithering Idiot, the Tiny. And then that's when the pilot beers are kind of like our fun experimental type beers, which we should have a new one out by the end of this month. It's going to be a variation of our wit beer. I brewed one of my own versions last year, but it's going to be a little bit different than both, but I thought it would be a good offering with it being, spring, summer-ish time. So that's something.
Is that how that works? Go ahead, Todd.
Yeah, can you talk about what it's going to like taste like or what's in it?
So I'm still, I basically have the recipe down, but I'm just trying to figure out how much of each thing I want to put in. Like, I'm definitely going to incorporate some orange peel, some lemon peel, maybe even some grapefruit.
See, now I'm down for this.
Yeah,
well,
it's going to be
figure out the recipe.
What's that?
Trial and error? Like, how do you figure out the recipe for a beer? Like, you just trial and error. What works? What?
Wait. Let me ask this. In Tyler's question, but how does that process even begin? Is there like hey, every January we sit down to decide are we going to make new beers, or is it like a random Thursday? You're like, you know what? This tastes good. I'm going to start a whole new beer. Like, where does that start?
So things are operating a little bit differently than they used to. With that being said, with our small batch beers, it's kind of like, I have an idea. Do we have the raw materials to do it? If we do, can we get them? If we can we do it? Yeah, okay, cool. But we're trying to plan more things out. What we're really focused on right now is sticking to our core beers. Like I said, the Merry Monks, the Blithering Idiot, and the Tiny, because that's really at the end of the day what everybody is looking for, because that's our thing. But yeah, we definitely have like brewers meetings, production meetings to talk about, future plans for future beers and future events and things like that. For example, our anniversary party, which we normally hold every June. Obviously right now that's postponed. So, once we have more on that, we'll, make sure everybody is aware.
Have you been in contact with maybe other brewers who are maybe your size or small brewers, and has there been communication among them, or is it kind of, because I even know, like, I feel like I'm on an island a little bit here.
Right. Do you mean like during this time period now?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I just wonder if you've talked to other brewers, if they're going through the same things, or if it's just you're focusing so much on what you're doing. What does it matter?
No, I mean, we are, but we are in the Lehigh Valley Brewers Guild, which is a group of there's a number of breweries from around the valley who are involved in this, and we've been kind of communicating back and forth and trying to help each other out. Like, can we grab some crowlers from you guys, and how can we organize something where we can get a mass amount and we all kind of pick from there? Like, basically just trying to help each other out and give each other insight. And we're not all the same size, but we're all in this locally together. So it's very important to, make sure that we still have that camaraderie going and that support happening. So yeah, we've been in contact for sure.
And so before we let you go, if you had to drink one Weyerbacher beer, only one, you're stuck on a deserted island.
Oh boy.
And you can only get one Weyerbacher beer.
Oh, and I have a question too after this.
Okay. Well, actually, let me think on that for a second, because there's been quite a few, and it's hard for me to choose one.
Now, I have a question. When you think about what beer do you like that you would be humiliated if your coworkers knew you drank? Do you have any?
If they knew about it?
Yeah, like, do you hide any like beers from your friends? Or do you not care?
I'm going to be so honest with you. Like, I'm not even lying. I am not ashamed.
Good, because that's how I feel.
Because I used to care more, like, with being new to, like, the brewing industry and stuff. I'm like, oh, it's craft brewing. Like, I can't let people know that, like, if I'm at my mom's house and she has a Coors Light, I'm going to drink it. Like, they can't know.
I hate that stuff.
And I'm not a huge fan of that one, admittedly. But I'm not ashamed to say what I like.
There's more heart and creativity in what a small brewing company does. Like,
right.
yeah, absolutely.
And at one point with those big guys, they probably shared that same stance, but they, you know, they do what they do, and they have their place, and we have our place, and let's just all drink beer. You know, you like what you like. Don't make fun of people.
On a hot day like golfing, I love Natty Light.
And that's you, man. You do.
Dude, my favorite beer of all time is Miller High Life.
Yeah,
I mean, that one's a good standby.
Like, no, it's a good just sitting there doing nothing beer. You know?
Well, yeah, it's like water. You know,
and that's
water.
okay. It's not
yeah,
good.
No,
I'm not
fine.
pretending it's good beer. It's just
right.
I'm not.
I just want to make it clear, I'm not trying to bash anyone or anything at all.
Bash Miller Lite. I don't think they're gonna care, but.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, Danielle.
All right, the beer.
You're on it. Okay. You're with your volleyball Wilson.
So,
and you get.
I think I'm gonna have to go with Blithering Idiot, and it's not just because it's our year-round, or one of our most popular. 11.8, or wait, I'm sorry, 11.1%. Still, you know,
strong.
It's hearty. So yeah, that
Mary Monk's is like 8%. It's not even.
It's 9.3.
Okay, why is it Blithering Idiot? Sell me on it.
All right. So basically, when I first turned 21, and maybe a little bit before that, I'm not going to go there. I saw this beer and I tasted it, and it was something about like the figginess and the fruitiness. It just, I just fell in love with it, and then I started working there and drank way too much of it, and now I can drink it like once a year. But you know, it's great. It's a good one for sure.
If you can only drink it once a year, you're going to be stuck on an island with it. That's the only thing you can have.
So I can have like a micro sip.
Yeah, she's going to ration it, Tyler. She's not just going to drink it all.
And then it's going to be flat and gross.
Yeah, I'm on a deserted island. Let me get wasted my first night here. Like,
well, listen, if you put me on the deserted island, I'd have to bring a lot of Blithering Idiot. I'd have to just get over it and drink it. You know, it's fine. But it is a great beer.
We're going to tag, people already know, we're going to tag you guys anyway. They know how to find Weyerbacher, but we'll make sure. And, you know, keep it up. And I want to do everything around here. And one of those things especially is come up to Weyerbacher and spend some time.
I can't wait till we can do that. That'll be awesome.
Now, Danielle, thank you so much. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
We'll see you later.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.